A big thanks to Square Enix for a review copy of Octahedron. Everyone loves a good puzzle platformer, especially me. So when I had the opportunity to cover Octahedron, I jumped at the chance. Its psychedelic visuals and bumping soundtrack are an immediate head turner. So let's get into it and see what this game has to offer. What is happening? Mattmade here, giving my review of Octahedron on Nintendo Switch. Octahedron is a very strange game. It starts off with a really trippy and odd cutscene. You, or more precisely the protagonist, find a weird octahedron. This octahedron then takes the place of your head and you're thrown into a different world. From there, you must climb up through each stage and reach the large octahedron at the top. There's no other plot or reason given other than the fact that you need to escape. It's a no-nonsense plot that gets you right into the action. The controls are very simple. You use B to jump and Y to create your platforms. The number of platforms you can create is dictated by the stage, however typically you'll get 2. Once you use those 2 platforms, you must land on a surface in order to get them back. These platforms will also follow you around and you can jump and maneuver using them. They don't stay for long, however, so you must plan out how you're going to move and be precise with your jumps. You start off with just your basic block. It has no features, abilities, or properties. It's there to help you learn how to play the game and effectively use the game's mechanics. After the first world, you get a new block that drops bricks when spawned. These bricks can destroy some enemies and allow you to flip switches or hit springboards. As you keep going through the game and going through each level, your power-ups switch and get more interesting. You can only have one power-up in each level, which keeps things interesting and simple. However, the things you can do with each power-up and the obstacles in each area change in order to give you more of a challenge. Now, don't be fooled by this simple premise, because this game gets hard. The first couple of areas are fairly easy and let you get used to how everything works. However, after that, things get downright maddening. There are all sorts of lasers, enemies, and traps that you'll need to avoid while climbing your way up to the octahedron at the top of the stage. Many times I would get halfway up just to get bodied by the stage and have to start all over. Additionally, having patience and being able to feel the beat are important with this game, as everything moves to the beat of the levels. Enemies will dart back and forth, move side to side, and even chase you down to the hypnotic and synthesized beats. You do get 3 or 4 lives in each stage, so dying once or twice isn't an issue. You also get 3 hearts per life, so you really have to do badly to game over in a level. That isn't to say you won't game over in levels, however. As I said before, this game is hard, and if you get off beat or try on an off cycle, then you can take 3 hits pretty quickly. However, when you get to a checkpoint, there is an extra hit point you can get, giving you some much needed breathing room. The visuals in this game are trippy and psychedelic. Everything is a bright neon color, making things pop and stand out, as well as shifting and altering and changing throughout the level. As you climb, there are patterns and colors going off in the background, and hearts in different shapes light up across the stage as you climb. This makes levels feel more alive and dynamic. If not for the color shifting and the shapes, the background would be a solid black, which would be boring and plain. The enemies are all interesting and unnerving. At the start, you have to go around these virus-looking enemies as you have no way to destroy them. However, as you progress and gain your brick powers, you can destroy them by dropping bricks onto them or hitting them with laser beams. Some stay destroyed, however others slowly reform by accumulating helixes and then popping back up. The reference to how an actual virus looks and the DNA motif is quite an interesting choice in this nonsensical game. The other enemies are interesting as well. You have bugs that only attack when you pass them, spiked balls that activate when you land on a platform, killer balloons, and a slew of other unique and interesting enemies to duck and dodge. Each enemy has a unique attack pattern and they can be combined together in order to make for some truly difficult platforming. The music in Octahedron is spectacular. Its synth and electronic beats will have you vibing while climbing your way to freedom. As you rock with the beat, you will need to pay attention to when enemies move and when platforms pop into and out of existence. Timing things with the beat is the only way to progress smoothly and quickly. Even the hazards in the game flash to the beat, giving you a good indication of what the tempo is and how things are going to behave. The music and the way it interacts with the world are well thought out and clear so that the player can understand what they need to do. The only real issue I had with this is that when I needed to move quickly to dodge laser beams or traps, sometimes the input wouldn't be read and I'd just fall and take a hit. Now, as this game is fairly simple and fairly straightforward, this is the main and only gripe I really had, but it did happen often enough to where I felt like it should be noted. Another thing is this game isn't for everyone. If you're looking for an in-depth story or a game that has a clear plot, then Octahedron definitely isn't for you. Aside from the beginning, you barely get any story, and after a while, it can start to feel like you're climbing for climbing's sake. On top of that, the platforming gets pretty intense, and as you progress, things get pretty complicated. Its simple art style and visuals can be very deceptive. It's one of those games that looks fairly simple, however requires lightning reflexes and precise platforming. Overall, Octahedron is a platformer made for die-hard fans of platformers and for those looking for a challenging game. Its light plot and demand for precision will be a turnoff to many. However, if you enjoy testing your skills, then there aren't many other games that will test them to this extent. As such, I only recommend this game if you walk in knowing that you'll die a lot and that you're not going to get much story. But what do you think of Octahedron? Does it look interesting? Do you like platforming games? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And again, a big thanks to Square Enix for the review copy of Octahedron. This is Mattmade, and I will see you tomorrow.